First of all, we anticipate the annual associate fee increase, including the additions we'll be making to the reserve, will be about 17%. And what that comes out per home is $737. And while not every home has the same assessment, some homes could be higher as much as maybe $114. Some could be lower, about $36. But that's the range we're in right now. Per condo, we're looking at an annual dues increase of $614. Okay? Special assessments, and we'll go through where these numbers came from. Unless you all say this is sufficient information, thanks, we're done. Okay? Hurricane Irma cleanup, we anticipate about $950,000, which will equate to per home $1,178, and per condominium $833. Litigation, we anticipate these are expenses for 2017 and 2018, about $347,000, and everyone will share in that equally. That'll bring the cost to $386 per door in the community. So if we add it up, the special assessments will be either $1,564 or $1,219 in addition to the annual dues increase. Okay? So now I'll drag you through everything. I saved you from that, but now we'll go through it. Okay, just to go through briefly the forecast for 2017. Nothing's really changed in terms of revenue. The bottom line is $231,000, and we have all of these expenses. And what I did want to point out right here in administrative expenses of $432,000, we've already been funding the litigation expense. And embedded in 2017 numbers is about $147,000 of these litigation expenses. So that has contributed to the loss for 2017. Okay, if we look at the same numbers that I just had on that sheet, except I removed the litigation expenses. They're considered kind of extraordinary. It's not the normal base expenses of running the HOA. If we take that out, then the bottom line is a loss of about $84,000 this year, which is much better than the performance in 2016. Okay, not quite where the budget had hoped us to be, break even or no gain, no loss, but nevertheless, that's where we would have been had we not incurred the litigation expenses. Okay? Everybody with me so far? Trying to make this as easy as I can. The next sheet I'm going to skip. It's in your packet, but it's redundant, so I'll skip this sheet. Okay? So now we're going to take the first look at what we believe a prudent budget would be for 2018. This first look, we have no what I call extraordinary expenses. This has no litigation expenses and no Irma expenses. We would just cloud the picture if we added those extraordinary items in. With the increase in everyone's dues of 17%, and with what we're projecting, a nominal increase in food and beverage of only 2%, which we hope is very conservative, revenue will go up to about $5.3 million, so right over here. Okay? In terms of our expenses, the biggest one is cost as well. The food and beverage, we're anticipating that even though revenue will go up slightly, that the costs will go down to support our food and beverage cost of sales. And I'm going to get into that a little more deeply because I know everyone's interested in how the Beach Club restaurant operation is going. The biggest will have an increase in contracts, repairs, and maintenance. And if any one of you took the time to read this in advance, you're going to see that this appears that salaries are going up quite a bit this year. They're really not. They're staying flat. We just had salary expense spread into a number of different accounts, and we put it all in one place so we can see it clearly going forward. The long and short of it is we have an obligation to have a budget that ends up at break even. We believe this will get us to break even for 2018. Okay, when you do look at this, what What this means is we're spending $576,000 more in 2018 than we're spending in 2017. So it begs the question, why are we spending that much more money? Hopefully this slide will help answer that question. First of all, this year we had $9,000 a month, or $108,000 to put into the reserve fund. Okay? We need more to meet the requirements of the study that was done in June. So we're going to be upping that number by $152,000. Our landscaping contract, we're going to be spending more for the landscaping contract. I'm sure there'll be questions. We'll go through that to the extent you would like to go over that. But there'll be some increased staffing from our landscape contract to get the things done that we believe need to be done. Also, landscaping extras, irrigation, and replacements, that's going up. A little misleading because we didn't spend everything we thought we would spend this year because we held off on some things. We were going to do an architectural study, do some replanting, but we held off, and now with the hurricane, a lot is not getting done. So we're going to be underspending this year. And we have some catch-up to do next year. Added to the budget is this item called pressure washing. If you walk around the area, you'll see on the sidewalks, some are black, some are the color they should be, the white, and it depends if people are taking the individual responsibility to pressure wash and paying on their own. But we feel it's necessary to pressure wash all of the walkways to get the community looking like we all would like it to look. The other thing that we really have to consider is a liability issue. If you walk around, some of them are pretty slick, and one of these days, God forbid it doesn't happen, but if someone does fall and injure themselves, we are liable. So we think that's prudent to get the whole quarry done and looking the way we would want it to look. We have in here some sand replenishment for the beach and a rate to make sure that when we get the sand, we can spread it properly. Basic increases in property insurance and utilities, and that should be an interesting one because we don't know what the impact of the expenses the insurance company is going to incur for this hurricane. We budgeted an increase, and hopefully that's enough there. Food and beverage costs will go up slightly as sales go up, and there's some other miscellaneous. So these get us to the total spending increase of $576,000 for 2018. Okay? So those are major items. We have pluses and minuses elsewhere. Okay, let's go through the beach club. First of all, in terms of how we're doing in the beach club, I'll get right to the bottom line. The beach club is going to lose, if we just subtract the cost of food, beverage, and labor, about $200,000 this year. And again, that is not any different than we've been saying all along. Okay, that's where we are. The cost of goods sold for food, is 54%. The cost of goods sold for beverages is 41%. So how does that compare to last year? It's no different. Last year, in 2016, we lost $197,000. And that's before we had the tiki bar. Okay, so we have not increased our expenditures, and I believe, and I hope you share that belief, that for the same amount of money, we have just a much more phenomenal amenity for the community. So that's where the situation is in terms of beach club results. Okay, our cost of goods sold for food is basically unchanged from last year, and one of the big things is our cost of goods sold for beverage has gone up from last year's 30% to this year's 41%. And the only reason that has happened is because of you. You enjoy happy hour, okay? And we've had most of the business we do for beverage sales for a part of the year is during happy hour. So you're getting a great deal there. Enjoy it, okay? So what is it going to look like going forward? Going forward, we're expecting, and I hope you're expecting, improvements in the beach club performance. We spend time with the folks there. We're looking to improve our cost of goods sold in food. by 4 points from 54% to 50 cents on the dollar. That means for every dollar we sell the food, it's going to cost us 50 cents in the actual food. It was costing us 54%, or it is costing us 54% this year. Beverage, we're just looking to get a little bit better. We're hoping it's going to be better, and this is conservative, but we didn't want to count on anything until we were a little short, more positive of it. And on food and beverage labor, that's the biggest difference. We're looking for about a $41,000 lower labor expense to support the Tiki Bar. Okay? There's a lot of learnings been going on about how many people come certain times of the day, how do we staff it, how do we make sure people don't wait too long, all of those kinds of things. So we recognize, people that run the food and beverage operation recognize that we all have to get better on that. So when you look at it, we're looking for lower costs in food and beverage, lower costs in labor, and improve the performance of the Beach Club restaurant business. Okay? Now let's get into the special items. First of all, reserve funding requirements. The bottom line is we need to have included in our assessments for 2018 $260,000 for the reserve fund as opposed to $108,000 this year. And I go through the math with you. We're at $142,000 the reserve balance as we speak, at the end of August. We're putting $9,000 a month for 4 months, that's another $36,000, but we're also going to be spending $79,000. The bulk of it is on the pool refurbishment and the pump, and that'll take place before the end of this year. There's other items in there, but that's the majority of the dollars. Okay, if we did all of that, the balance would be at $99,000 at the end of this year, according to the reserve study that was done. And I believe is that available for everyone? That is online. It says we need to be at $322,000 at the end of 2018. Okay, so we have to make up that shortfall. There's nothing in there for ongoing repairs in 2018. We think it's prudent to put something in for that. That gets us to the $260,000. We're increasing your assessments to get that where it needs to be, and where we all should want it to be, to have a financially stable community. Okay, armor expenses. You're probably all curious is what's going on with the hurricane cleanup, which everyone that's been involved in that has done a fantastic job. They've been working long hours. Our landscape contractor has been doing a beautiful job. Those of you who just returned to the quarry in the last week are probably saying, boy, it doesn't look like it was too bad. But you should have been here the week after when you couldn't drive down the roads because they were all blocked. So, you know, kudos to everyone involved in that. We're estimating, these are all our estimates as of, this week, our general cleanup, stump removal, dump fees, tree staking, irrigation repairs will be about $500,000 for the community. In addition, we have replacement of trees and some more sand replenishment this year. That's going to be about $250,000. Electrical repairs, we estimated $100,000. You all see all the signs, about $30,000 to signage. Awnings have to be fixed over at the pool, $20,000, and just some other miscellaneous items. Excuse me, awnings for $15,000, miscellaneous is $20,000. And again, we put a contingency because everyone's still working on it. These are their rough estimates. So that brings us to the $950,000 we believe it will take to get this community to where it should be as a result of the hurricane. Okay. Now, what that means is there's going to be two special assessments. One to fund the hurricane cleanup, and that's going to come out to $1,178 per home and $833 per condo. If you take that $950,000 and divide it up as it should be between homes and condos. So that's the first special assessment. Okay? You ready for the good news? The good news is most likely, this is not 100% sure, okay? But most likely the special assessment for the hurricane damage will be covered by your homeowner's insurance policy. I see some people are shaking their heads no. I personally called the insurance carrier, my insurance agent. I checked, and they said, yes, you are covered. Everyone is getting different answers here, okay? We know that in fact. We can discuss it after. Jerry Williams is going to help on that. We're all going to get different answers here. Each case is going to be individual. But there is a provision, it's called loss assessment. This is my insurance coverage policy. And the first $1,000 for homeowners, if you're in a condominium, it's $2,000, okay? The first $1,000 for homeowners and $2,000 for condominiums. For some people, will be covered by their carrier with no deductible. Some will have a deductible. It could be $250, it could be the full $1,000. I don't know what it is in your particular case. And even if we call, we get different answers. As a matter of fact, there was an article in yesterday's Sunday Naples News front page real estate section that talked about this. Many of us read that article and we still don't understand it, okay? So it's something we're going to look into further, and this is one of the reasons why this assessment is going to be broken out separately from the other assessment. So you can submit it to your insurance company and we'll see what happens from there, okay? So that's one possibility. Can we hold on, unless it's clarified?
Yeah, just, you guys going to issue a certificate showing what that covers?
Yes.
The insurance company?
Yes. So you can send it to your respective insurance companies, most definitely. Okay, the litigation expense. We've incurred probably, well, by the end of this year, about half of that $297,000 in legal fees this year, and we expect a like amount in 2018. We also are using consultants to help us with studies and other things, and so we're looking at a total spending of about $347,000, and that was not anticipated this past year. And so we're going to do a special assessment for this as well, which will be $386 per door to get us through 2018 and see where we are on this lawsuit. Okay, but that will be the second half of the special assessment. So again, to recap all of this information, the annual association fees, including the reserve, will go up roughly 17%. We'll have two special assessments, one for the Irma cleanup on a separate certificate so you can submit to your insurance companies, and then one to support the litigation for total special assessments of anywhere between $1,219 and $1,564, depending on where you live. Okay, so that's the end of the numbers, but the board was sitting there, and, you know, we're like you, we're homeowners, we don't like to see the financial consequences of all this spending. And so what we did is say, what are we doing to minimize that for everyone, including ourselves? And so we took a step back and saying, how can we make this community better for everyone? And we just listed some things that you may be aware, you may not be aware of, but there has been a lot of time focused on how to get the food and beverage operation running more effectively. That'll be something we do ongoing, but we're hoping to be significantly better in 2018. Credit cards. Want to make sure you understand this. It all goes out in email, but not all of us read our emails. To help with cash flow, and by the way, thank God we had that line of credit, because we're into that line of credit for what, Jackie? $500,000 right now? So that's how we're paying the bills right now. Okay? We're going to be eliminating the use of credit cards for the payment of the annual dues. You can still use it, but there will be a convenience fee, amount to be determined. Okay? Shouldn't be paying annual dues on credit cards. We're going to be eliminating the use of Amex, the Amex credit card, American Express, to pay your normal, Q-bar or whatever it is, because the fee we incur is about twice as much as what we incur on all the other credit cards. So again, we don't want to subsidize that. We're also going to be switching the service provider who does the back office processing of our credit cards to reduce how much we spend. So we spend a lot of money on credit card fees, and we're trying to wind that down as much as we can. Collections, again, all with the objective of improving cash flow. We instituted more timely collection of monthly food and beverage charges. We didn't wait, what was it, the 15th of the following month? Is that what it was? and now we collect it twice a month within the month that the charge is generated. And we clarified the due dates, quarterly dues, and put the collection process and associated fines in place. We need to collect the annual dues on time. If we don't, we're going to borrow money, we're going to pay interest, and we will incur that expense. We don't want that to happen. We're going to be expanding the trailer spots to accommodate. There's a long waiting list of trailer spots for boats and trailers, which is currently our dumping ground. We can't do it yet, but as an aside, there was a point in time here, and it may still be in effect, you could only take three truckloads a day to the landfill. And that's why you see a lot of stuff still here. The landfill cannot handle it. So we have our own dumping ground, but as soon as we clean that out, we're going to expand it and raise a little bit more revenue there. You know about the line of credit. We're trying to increase the synergy in all our food, beverage, and supply purchases between the golf club and the beach club. There's no reason either one should be paying a lower price than the other. Whoever's paying the lowest, we want to get it for both of them, and then we want a volume to bring it down for each one. So we're working hard with the golf club on that. This is just a special thing here. We'll be removing the aquarium by the end of the year, and we all know who's going to make that most happy. And most importantly, you know, this is our community, your community. We have 11 very, very active committees encompassing 63 people that spend a lot of time working to improve your community. And they're doing a phenomenal job, and just going to keep doing that. And everything we do is transparent. It's online, it's available, all the minutes of the meeting, all the financial information, you name it. So that's, you know, just a partial list. And, you know, this meeting is about your suggestions, your comments, your input to how do we get better. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. Hopefully I didn't overload you. And at this point, we'll turn it over to questions for anyone on the board, and any insurance questions. Jerry Williams has agreed in advance to help us with those as well. Okay, so we'll turn it over to questions. And we would ask you to hold off on your question until the mic comes so everyone can hear you, okay? Someone.
What?
Yeah. I think my voice is loud enough. My name is Clement Sofer.
Well, microphone.
You don't hear me up there?
No.
I can speak louder.
Very good.
I'm suggesting, among those suggestions that we saw, how about if we sublease the entire food operation and save those $200,000 loss, save the salary of the employees, and come back and make some money by subleasing the entire food operation to some kind of an organization. Thank you.
Thank you for that suggestion, and it's a good one, and something we should entertain and always be open to looking into anything like that, because maybe they could do a better job. They have to make a profit as well, so we shouldn't rule that out. Thank you.
Tom Schobach. How will the special assessment be paid? Lump sum, quarterly, half and half, first two?
It's going to be due within 30 days from when we get it out, and quite frankly, we want to get that notice out as soon as possible. Because we're funding that $950,000 right now with borrowed money, with interest expense, and we'll run out of capacity. So we want to collect that money as soon as we can. Had it been spread out all the time on payments, then we could have spread out when we collected from you. But that's not the case, unfortunately.
So you could bill it before January 1st, is that correct?
We'll vote on it at the annual meeting on November 7th when we adopt the budget. And so we'll probably have it a due date of December 15th.
Another question, is there a draft budget as we've seen in previous years? And I'm going to see it before the 7th.
Yes. Yeah, it's not been put in that format yet, but the numbers are pretty much finalized, and based on what happens today, and then the detail of it will be presented like it was in the past.
The $737 increase, that's on almost page 1, does that include the neighborhood number, or is that just the master number?
That includes it. That's why there's a different amount. It could be plus a certain amount, minus, because it's different for each neighborhood. Yes, it includes it.
And I take it that your footnotes indicating that none of our deductibles were met by the items that are eligible for insurance coverage. So the insurance coverage is 0. Not coverage,
No, that's the way I read it, the deductible applies per building. It's 2%.
Thanks, Jerry.
The way I read it, the deductible is 2% per building, and it's not blanket coverage. So each building is insured for a different amount. This building, we will not meet the deductible because this is a $1.5 million building. 2%. There's not that much damage. The pool equipment, and it determines what the adjuster calls pool equipment. But if we lost the pump and the canopies, what have you, pool equipment is only insured for $50,000. So we only have a $1,000 deductible for that. So we may recover some from that. We may recover for the guardhouses. There's some substantial roof damage to the front guardhouse. I would suspect that will exceed the deductible. But all in all, it's not going to be anywhere near what we'll lose on trees and shrubs, which you cannot insure. So.
The last, I want to say this is the best format that I've seen in the years that I've been coming as far as readability, completeness, and thanks for all your hard work.
Hi, Dave Bucco. Just a couple of questions. I like to look at the activity, but I have to tell you, it's hard to find stuff on the website. I know the loss reserve study is supposed to be there. I haven't found it yet. So one suggestion would be to make stuff like the financials and budget easier to find instead of having to go through multiple websites or two different websites for us. That would be easier. Now, my specific question, we're getting assessed for litigation. I thought at one time we were told that the lawyers were actually doing this on a contingency basis. I guess that's not the case, so we're paying some fees. And if it is on a contingency basis, will we recover the expenses that we incur now if we in fact are not sued?
We're going to be having a town hall meeting. The notice hasn't gone out yet, but we're going to have a town hall meeting on November 2nd. It's a Thursday.